Are you married to an addict or alcoholic? Or are you in a committed relationship with one? Me too. Join me, Anonymously Bex, on my journey of self-discovery. I will guide you through a myriad of topics designed to illuminate a path towards your own awakening. Addiction is a family disease. Everyone in its orbit is profoundly affected. Subscribe to our podcast to help me, Anonymously Bex, continue to provide tailored content to the unwitting lives of addicts and alcoholics. And now for this week's article. Today's episode is called Thanksgiving Holiday Reflections, Svadhyaya or Self-Study. Welcome. How was your holiday? For today's episode, let's employ one of our most valuable tools, the tool of Svadhyaya, or self-study. This is part of our yoga ethics that can be viewed on our foundations page of our website. Together, we will review the events of the holiday weekend, and reflect on our emotions, our reactions, our behaviors, and our choices. Recall the mission of Secret Spirits to support the wives, partners, girlfriends of addicts and alcoholics alike, to guide you towards your own awakening, to illuminate the truth and demonstrate a better way. With that, let's dive in. Let's have some intention around our surroundings for our self-study exercise. Let's ensure that we're ready for self-reflection. Are you comfortable? If you journal, ensure you have a fresh, clean page and a pen. Do you need to dim the lights? Do you need to put on some soothing music or sounds? Do you need some coffee or some tea? Now let's begin. Let's begin with an overview of the holiday, a reminder of sorts. The holiday originated in 1621, a harvest feast between the Plymouth colonists and the Wampanoag tribe. The Plymouth colonists struggled through their first year, and the Wampanoag people helped them by sharing valuable knowledge of the land and its resources. When the colonists had their first successful harvest, they held a feast to celebrate and give thanks. The Wampanoag people were invited to share in this 3-day harvest festival, which included deer, fowl, seafood, and other foods. In 1863, Abraham Lincoln issued a proclamation declaring a national day of Thanksgiving to be celebrated on the last Thursday of November. Of course, we could go into a deeper history of the holiday, but that's not why we're here. We're here to continue on our own journey of awakening. Thoughtfulness on your holiday. After reviewing a brief overview of the history of the holiday of Thanksgiving, a reminder of the purpose of the celebration, I have some questions to kick off our episode of self-reflection. For today, I will first pose the question before providing my own reflective response. Here's the first question. How do you feel right now on the other side of what can be a very stressful weekend? I'll share how I feel. I'm relieved to have navigated this first holiday of the holiday season. It wasn't as smooth or effortless as I would have liked. That's why today's exercise in self-reflection is so important to me. I want to identify the pitfalls in my behaviors, moods, and expectations, and course correct for the coming Christmas holiday. Our second question. What was the hardest part of the holiday from a task perspective? I had trouble managing timing on the Thanksgiving holiday. I wanted to make a beautiful French pastry to contribute to the family meal. I had this vision in my head of arriving with a somewhat exotic pastry in my hand as my contribution. I thought making the dish would be a bonding moment for my daughter and me. I failed to read the directions for all the components, and my pastry dough was frozen when it came time to assemble it. While trying to troubleshoot that aspect, I became rushed and sloppy. I threw the dish together in a hurry, and I was so displeased with its appearance. I refused to bring it as an offering for the meal. I can see now how that decision was in direct opposition to the meaning of the holiday, which is not the example I am striving to set for my children. Our third question. What was the hardest part of the holiday from an emotional perspective? Take a deep breath. This is a complex question for me at this moment. I found myself feeling very grumpy before the Thanksgiving dinner. In reflection, I can see how my feelings of discourse were directly tied to the expectations I had of my husband's behaviors. A phantom limb sort of reaction, a deep sense of repetitive behaviors looming at the evening's Thanksgiving dinner table. I expected my husband's ability to quote unquote cope with being surrounded by his family to be challenged. And guess what? I was right. He failed to cope in a healthy manner. He has admitted to smoking his vape, which is against my house rules, the night of the Thanksgiving dinner. In reality, I believe he engaged in his disease. I believe he took more of his prescription medication than he is directed to by his team of physicians and psychiatrists. This is something that now that my kids are back in school for the day, I have time to ruminate on and consider what tools are available to me in response. If you've been listening to this podcast for several weeks, you may have gleaned that my husband is living separately from me and the kids. He's in a sober living environment where he is drug tested and alcohol tested regularly. So my first call this morning after school drop off was to the family coach at his sober living environment to alert them to my beliefs of his behaviors and request testing for specific types of use. After placing that call, I release any responsibility or thought on the subject. I give it to the team in place and know that if my husband is indeed abusing his prescriptions, as I suspect he is, and how I have observed him to behave in the past, then my only option is to enforce further protections around the kids and me. Reflecting on what was presented to my kids over the holiday, the fourth question. In her book, Marriage on the Rocks, Janet G. Wowitz states, "What about the children? They are the most vulnerable of all. They are victims and they are powerless. They are dependent and defenseless. They know no other way of life. We communicate to them what our values are, and they pick them up as their own. If we are unclear, they will be unclear." That said, for my kids this Thanksgiving holiday, they observed my husband's appearance looking, quote unquote, off. His eyes appeared to be glazed over at the dinner table. He couldn't sit still at the dinner table with his family, so he anxiously wandered around the kitchen and the kids' area. He asked repetitive questions to topics that we had previously discussed. And my reaction? I was grumpy. I was angry that he was going to ruin the holiday for the rest of us. The truth is, this entire scenario is and was predictable. My husband, a person who suffers from a severe and persistent mental illness, had a predictable coping mechanism. Even though he has been sober the past few months, it does not mean he is infallible. Let's talk about finding the truth. Where I feel validated in my anger is this. My husband could have got up, left the dinner. He could have said, "This is too triggering for me. I need to go to the sober house or a meeting." He could have also woken up the next day, called me, and admitted to his shortcomings. Instead, I observe him repeating his pattern of ruthlessly hiding his behaviors. And that is the space where I find the truth. The truth is, lots of people struggle during the holidays. The only way to enact change is to be the change, to make the first right decision. And my husband didn't do that this weekend. And I find that very concerning and troubling. Truthfully, when I consider his sobriety, it has to be black and white. In fact, it's It's one of the only things that, at least that I can think of, that is in fact black and white. He is either stone cold sober or in active addiction. There is no longer any space for consideration of things like California sober or tiptoeing so close to the line that it gets blurred. So where does that leave me now? Well, as I mentioned, I called the people who are shrouding me with safeguards. I asked them to be vigilant. I asked for extra drug testing that would be impossible for him to evade. We have couples therapy this week where I will address the behaviors I observed. And that's where I stand at this moment in time. It's not the most comfortable place to be. I often feel like I'm living in limbo, some space between being a married couple and being divorced. I trust that this is the exact space where I need to be in this moment, learning, growing, and observing. And that's where I will continue to be until I can find peace and some direction. And you? What were your self-reflections to the provided questions? In broader terms, where are you in this journey? Is your partner in active addiction? How did you manage the Thanksgiving holiday? Is your partner sober? What did the holiday bring to your household? As an ever-present reminder, you, me, we are never alone in this. Support, help, a listening ear is always available. You just need the courage to reach out your hand and ask for help. Until next time, anonymously, Bex. Do you like this content? Do you find it helpful for navigating your own journey? If you do, please take time to subscribe to the Secret Spirits podcast. By subscribing to this channel, you can help me, Anonymously Bex, continue to provide tailored content to the unwitting wife of an addict or alcoholic. If you have comments, suggestions, or are open to sharing your own experience being bound to an addict or alcoholic, email me today, admin@secretspirits.com. Do you need one-on-one support in this time of need? Book a consultation with me, Anonymously Bex, or join our membership program where you can begin to build your own support system. Visit our website, secretspirits.com. Subscribe to our channels, Secret Spirits, to get more from Secret Spirits today.